This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. The election of Ruth Buffalo to the North Dakota legislature is already paying dividends for Native issues in the state. Buffalo is the first female Native American Democrat elected to the state's House of Representatives. In the next part of our series looking at voting restrictions in North Dakota, Christine Trudeau speaks with Buffalo about the difference a Native woman brings to the political process.
This month, North Dakota joins a handful of states to allow high school students to wear traditional regalia for graduation ceremonies, and it's the first bill introduced by Ruth Buffalo to be signed into law.
Students can wear their eagle feathers and eagle plumes freely during their graduation ceremonies, so we're pretty excited about that. Kind of sad in a way that needs to be enacted into a law.
Buffalo is a member of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. The regalia law is an example of what she says is unique about the perspective someone like her brings to elected office.
I think it's so important to have Native women in the legislature because we do bring not only an Indigenous lens, but we understand the struggle that our ancestors have gone through, and also as mothers, we have this inherent right to protect our communities.
Buffalo is also the prime sponsor for several items currently in the legislature aimed at the issue of missing murdered Indigenous women. If passed, the legislation would build data repositories for missing persons, including a designated one for missing Indigenous people. Buffalo was elected in South Fargo, a district not largely affected by the state's controversial voter ID law requiring a physical address. She ousted the incumbent Republican, Randy Boning, the original sponsor of the law. With inaction to the voter ID law this legislative session, Buffalo remains concerned as rural residents, many on reservations with a housing shortage, continue to have difficulties getting their state-verified physical address.
It's not only in our tribal communities where the right of the people is being challenged by our current legislature. So there's much work to be done in making sure that every citizen is able to exercise their right to true democracy.
Buffalo says even though the voter ID law remains in effect, the last election proved Native people can still be a strong voting bloc. She and other voting rights advocates say it may even inspire other Native candidates to step forward in 2020. For National Native News, I'm Christine Trudeau.
This story is a collaboration with National Native News, the Solutions Journalism Network, and Prairie Public Broadcasting. The Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation in South Dakota is experiencing record flooding and is requesting residents near flood areas evacuate. Some homes are already isolated by water, and residents had to be rescued by helicopter. More evacuations are planned for Thursday. Efforts are in place to put sandbags around the community of Whitehorse. The tribe is urging residents to voluntarily leave. Some want to stay due to concerns about their livestock and property. Indian Health Service Principal Deputy Michael Wiaki met with leaders of the Oglala Sioux Tribe Wednesday. The meeting in Pine Ridge, South Dakota was to discuss steps the Indian Health Service is taking to protect patients. Wiaki said in a statement that he expressed sincere regret children were victimized and that abuse will not be tolerated in the IHS. A similar meeting was held with the Blackfeet Nation in Montana. Wednesday's meeting comes after the announcement this week by the White House of the creation of a presidential task force to focus on the protection of Native children cared for in the IHS system. Former pediatrician Stanley Weber was convicted of sexually abusing children on the Blackfeet Reservation. He now faces trial for accusations of sex crimes on Pine Ridge. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by the law offices of Sonosky, Chambers, Saxe, Miller, and Monkman, a national tribal rights law firm with offices in Washington, D.C., New Mexico, California, and Alaska, and online at www.sonosky.com.
Support by BNSF Railway, moving our economy for over 165 years. Our vision is to operate injury and accident-free with safety programs, training, and technology. More at bnsf.com/tribal relations.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.